What's up, dudes? It's your buddy, 5-Bar Doom, and I'm here with another, I don't know if it's strategy, or maybe it's just being a good neighbor, but I do have a little thought on DYPs today. And the thought is, when you're playing DYP, and you walk up to the table, don't assume that you're playing forward. Now, why do I say that? Because, you might think, well, I'm one of the better players. I'm always playing forward. You know what I mean? Or, I don't play goalie. I'm a pretty good forward. Why would I ever not play forward? Well, I think there's a bunch of reasons for this. One thing is in DYPs in general and at these local tournaments, there's definitely a hierarchy of players, right? I walk into a Bebo, I'm not saying I win all the time, but I'd say it's fair to say I'm one of the better players up there, right? So most of the time in a DYP, kind of makes sense. I'd probably play forward, right? The problem with that is, there's a million problems with it. One is you're not the only person that wants to play forward. Let's say you're a newer player and you're getting used to the game and you just enjoy playing foosball and you're learning the roller, you're learning the pull, you're learning your 5-bar. And you've been playing with your friends, and now you're playing DYP, and you're kind of hoping you get to play some forward. Nothing sucks more than being like, okay, here's the team. You walk up to the table, and the guy's wrapping the front rods before he even talks to you. That's to me, that's just the most disrespectful thing in the world. People do it all the time. In these mega DYPs, it's not as bad, I guess, but at least in the Detroit area, I feel like people aren't quite as bad like that. And maybe it's just because there's a bunch of guys who also play a lot of goalie. But I think when you go up to the table, it's just a really smart idea. Even if 99% of the time, this guy probably would play goalie. And he might not even really mind if you just assume that you're playing forward. I think it's really nice of you to walk up to the table and you're playing with Steve. You're like, hey, Steve, what do you think? How do you want to do this? Do you want to play front? Do you want to play back? What do you think? And, if somebody wants to play forward and they are not as good of a forward, I say let them play forward sometimes. I understand there are times where it's a big match or you're against this really tough team and you kind of just feel like there's sort of no way we're going to win this match with him up front. I'm going to need to play forward. Then maybe you have that conversation with them and say hey, for these reasons, I think it might be better for me to play forward. What do you think? But overall, I think it's nice of you to bring your partner into the conversation and not make him feel like he's the second-class citizen in the DYP and he just has to do whatever you say. This especially goes for the higher-ranked players, the players that are touring, and things like that. I think the other thing, too, is that if you are a better player, learn how to win it out of the pits, man. Block really good. If you're playing DYP and you're the better player and you have a kind of worse player up front and you're able to block okay, that's pretty cool. And you can just drag that match out. You know what I mean? And it's pretty cool. People are like, why is this match taking so long? And they go over there and they're like, he's playing forward? And you're in the back. You're the good player normally smashing up front. You're just bricking back there. Brick, brick, brick. And just set up that 2-bar and let it rip, man. There's actually a match at Grady's that I played. Grady's, they've been running these DYPs. Now they've been running goalie wars and singles. But the first time or two I went up there, they basically just did a mega draw. And I went up there in this mega draw, and there's this lady, never seen her before, never seen her at a Bebo, I don't know anything about her, and did the thing we're talking about. Do you want to play forward or back? She wanted to play forward. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. All right, we'll see how this goes. And she had no game. No offense. I'm not trying to rip on this lady. I don't know who she was. But I'm just saying, 0 5-bar. Throughout the match, she got zero 3-bar possessions. And she basically would just kind of whack at it on the 5. And that was sort of her whole strategy. In that match, I ended up winning that match, and I scored 6 out of the back. And there was like one that kind of slopped in. But I was like I was playing against people that I thought, for that DYP, it was a pretty tough match. I mean, the matchup with me in the back and this lady up front was essentially impossible. You know what I'm saying? And somehow, I just was like, well, I'm not going to be able to mess around back here. I'm going to have to block really well. And I'm going to have to fire up that 2-bar because literally there is no chance any other points are going in unless I bang him in for my 2-bar. And if you know me, you know I don't have a 2-bar. Or at least it's very inconsistent. And that match was incredible. I was mad I wasn't bringing my GoPro up there, so I didn't have it on tape. But I was so happy about that match. It was one of the best matches I've played this year, literally. I was so freaking stoked. And when I hit that 0.7 and this race to 7 out of the back, I just raised my hands and I'm like, I'm the best foosball player in the world. You know what I mean? It was an absolutely incredible moment. There was literally no way to get that feeling out of that DYP without this insane situation. I mean, this person literally no game, dude. Just whack. Oh, well, didn't go. It's just like zero chance it could ever happen with that person up front. And that was an amazing DYP match. So that's a super extreme example. But, I think if you are a forward, one reason that you probably don't want to play goalie is you sort of know, like, it's going to be really, really tough to win this match with me in goal. This forward probably doesn't have that great of a 3-bar. They don't have that great of a 5-bar. And I just don't anticipate that they're going to be able to hit 7 up front. Well, it's your time to step up, man. You're in a DYP. Might be your time to shine and, fire up that 2-bar. Maybe rag a couple in. Maybe hit a couple legit ones, and it could be like an amazing match. I think also, if you're one of these people that always plays forward, getting experience playing goalie for a worse player is actually really fun. It gives you a lot of opportunities to block, and it's important. You got to keep blocking, man. And like I said, that match can just stretch on absolutely forever. And obviously for the worst player, if they do partner up with a better player and that player is treating them like a real human being and not just like a nobody, and they ask them, where do you want to play? And they timidly are like, front? Like, can I please? I mean, I don't know. Nobody ever lets me play front. And then you're like, sure, go for it, buddy. You just wrap up in back, strap in. You're like, go for it, brother. And yeah, maybe you pass some to him. Maybe you just say lift them and you just let it rip when you get it and you try to win it back there. It's going to do nothing but improve your goalie game. That's good stuff. If you're playing singles, I mean, in my mind, everybody should have singles in their mind. I know there's a lot of people that are just like, oh, I don't play singles. Not good, man. You're throwing away the absolute A+ peak of the game, which is singles. Doubles is such an inferior form of foosball. I can't even talk about how much worse doubles is. And to me personally, I think a lot of the reason why people don't like singles is just because they're not good at it. Once you get good at singles, you just realize, wow, the beauty of singles. It's like so much variety, so much more skill, so many more things you can do in singles. And what better way to get better at singles than to just be not only an amazing forward, but also an incredible goalie. And playing these DYPs in the pits, excellent practice for becoming an incredible goalie. And if you're on the other side of the coin and you are the newer player or the player that plays goalie more frequently, I just really recommend that you kind of step up and ask to play forward sometimes. I mean, I know it's tough if you get one of these like jerks that, you walk up to the table, they just 100% assume you're playing goalie, don't even talk to you about it. That's a pretty rough situation. But in those cases, hey, man, stick it to them. Be like, hey, can I play forward or what's going on here? You know what I mean? I see you're wrapped up, but I was kind of hoping I could play forward. I mean, I think another option, if you've been watching some of my recent games, I've done some switching every ball. And that's just another good way in a DYP to just kind of balance it out. You know? So that's just another option. It's like, this person wants to play, let's say you both want to play forward. Well, I mean, it's kind of tough thing to resolve, you know? But one way to resolve it, be like, well, let's just switch every ball. Or we play roto. I don't like roto. I like switch every ball. But, I mean, and the reason I don't like roto is like the way roto is supposed to work is like when you score, you switch. I don't like that. I like it better switch every ball because then you just get in the chance to where like sometimes like, you know, you take the drop, you score, now you're in the back. You score in the back. Now you take the drop up front, or, you know, now you're back up front. I don't know. It adds some like interesting dynamics where I feel like in roto, you know, if you don't score, you're just stuck. So you get, you know, one person, you get stuck in that bad configuration and you got to wait for you to score again to switch. That's not very good. I definitely think it's way better to switch every ball. But, you know, that's like another option. But, yeah, I'm going to keep this one short today. But basically the moral of the story is don't just assume you're going to play forward. Treat your partner like a normal, you know, other full member of the foosball community and ask them what they want to do. And sometimes you'll be surprised. You know, I've played DYPs before where, you know, I've done this and somebody wanted to play forward. I'm like, well, see how it goes. And then they do really good. Or maybe you do really good in the pits and surprise yourself. So, yep, that's about it for today's video. What do you think? You know, do you already do this? Are you one of the people that, do you think this is completely stupid? And you're like, oh, that's dumb. Like, I'm playing forward. F you, I'm playing forward. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And, you know, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it if you follow my page. You know, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I got less than 200 right now. You need 500 to monetize the channel. Whatever, it's a thing that I'm trying to get to at some point. So if you're not following my page, if you're not subscribed on YouTube, I would really appreciate it if you did. It totally helps me out. And thanks for watching these videos. I'm having fun making them. I'm having fun talking to you guys about them. So leave some comments and let's chat about this topic. I'll see you in the next video.